Hello, friends, and welcome to Creatives on Camera, the podcast where we explore how artists and makers share their creativity through the world through virtual teaching. I'm Lyric Kinard, the founder of the Academy for Virtual Teaching. Today, you're going to love hearing from my friend, Kimberly Pierce Cartwright, a quilter, ceramic artist, and teacher whose creative journey is rooted in resilience, joy, and community. We'll talk about how she turned her love of making into a thriving teaching business, how she built a conference from the ground up, and what she's learned about courage, preparation, and saying yes before you're ready. If you're a creative who dreams of teaching online, or you just need a reminder that you can start before everything's perfect, this is for you. Before we begin, take a moment to follow the show and leave a quick review. It really helps more creative teachers find these conversations. And come join our free membership at theacademyforvirtualteaching.com to connect with others walking the same path. Let's dive right in. Hello, friends. I am here with somebody I dearly love. Kimberly Pierce Cartwright is a textile artist, a teacher, and also a friend, which is also, that's always such a lovely thing to be able to bring somebody that I've known for a long time on. Kimberly, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your business?
Thank you. Kimberly Pierce Cartwright, and I live in Durham, North Carolina, and my business is my name, Kimberly Pierce Cartwright. I do a lot of things. I teach, I lecture, I make, and then I go around and I talk about it. So that's the nature of my business, and most of it, I'm sure, as a lot of you have stitching in your day. So today is just a day that I couldn't figure out what else to do. I've got a list, and I was trying to do the really hard things today. So I did some of the hard things, but the soft things and the easy, relaxing, and wonderful thing is that I've been sewing today as well. So that's a little bit about me.
Lovely.
Oh my goodness. And I get up every morning with the notion of what am I going to sew today? And then, just like I said, I push maybe some of the big things out of the way a little bit so that I can get to always the thing that I'm passionate about, and that's the needle and the thread, whether it's hand stitching or whether it's machine stitching.
Right? The making. So you're at heart a creative, and that creating with your hands, no matter what media we use, that being able to create something feeds our soul. What made you choose to add in teaching to that, sharing that gift and that joy with others? Because it does take away time from the time you spend stitching, right? Why would you do that?
It does take away time. And then I always had the notion to create. And when I'm creating, I'm just here by myself. I wanted to share my creativity with other people. And then I wanted to think about, how I could turn what I love into a financial enterprise as well, so that I could help sustain where I live and what I do, and help me to do more of it because of financial security. So it's a two-pronged process. I get to make stuff, I get to share stuff, and then I get to make money. And I think that if you can do something that you love every day, the old saying says, then you will never work a day in your life, because you'll always be happy with your passion. And that's what it is for me. It's my passion. If I can just put all of it together and come out on the end with satisfaction in all these columns, and it just makes it all worthwhile. And it makes me feel more as if I'm doing something right, and it's all working together to be successful.
Nice. That happiness, that sense of peace and fulfillment inside is the feedback that you need
Mhm.
to keep
Yes,
going.
yes.
So what I heard was it's either or and,
Hmm.
not putting all your eggs in one basket. Like creating and selling work is a large part of what you do, but either teaching is more reliable and stable, or it just diversifies your income.
It definitely diversifies my income, and I'm retired. And when I say that, every time I say it, I have a release that I don't have to go to a 9 to 5 every day, but I'm a fixed income, so it's not going to get any bigger unless there's this aha moment by the powers that be that say, oh, we need to give all these people on Social Security more money. So then around that, I have to like do other things to help with that. And not only am I a quilter, then I'm a ceramic artist as well. So I picked up a couple of classes and I'm teaching ceramics. I'm learning more about it, and I'm teaching it along the way. So just to be able to do these other things just brings it all home. And I feel like I'm flexible enough to be able to do all of these different things and make it all make sense. So, but like, it's just like a day like today, I have so many things on my plate that I'm going on the big list, but there's always that draw, and I even said today, that I'm not going outside. I'm not going to get in my car to go anywhere, to even run the errands that I know I need to run today, because I need to sew today and I need to make some notes today. I need to do this interview today. So there are lots of things that I have to pull up to be able to make all of it come together. And the
Right.
money's at the end, and then the fun is in the middle. But there's a lot of planning and stuff that you have to do too. It's not all fun. It's like paperwork and calling back and emails and the whole lot. But
All that business administration, because we are professionals, we are business people. You can be an artist, you can do your thing, but unless you treat yourself and think of yourself as a professional, it's kind of mushy, squishy, right?
Yeah.
It runs so much better if we intentionally think of ourselves as a real business,
Yeah,
because we are.
yeah, and I have to keep up with all the business stuff too, and then my tax preparer has to
All the
all the
things.
things, all the things. But I'm not even dissuaded a little bit by that, because at the end of the rainbow, there's this amazing project that I've done, and I feel like I have decreased my quilt stash. It's going down.
Oh, that's
It's going
that's an impossible task for many people.
down.
Right? All you quilters out there, we see you. We see you in your
We
wow,
see you
decreasing a
and
quilt
we
stash.
feel you and we love
That we do.
you.
Um, Kimberly, you and I knew each other before the Academy for Virtual Teaching was started. And then you came in fairly early on to one of our virtual teaching master classes. Why did you choose to come in to that and take on that kind of new learning and that new way to run your business? Because it's where we learn how to do the video and software and business admin tech for teaching online instead of in person.
Well, I knew you all that long ago, and you were doing Pack of South. And when I saw Pack of South, I said, "Oh my goodness, this is something new and different." So when I went there, I saw people doing the quilt work, but then I saw people doing like the professional aspect of it as well. So when I learned,
Yeah, PACO South is the Professional Art Quilt Alliance South. There's one up in Chicago, the original. So
Mhm.
just for those of you who don't know what that
Yeah,
is.
so when I saw you doing Pack of South, and then I saw you doing the Academy, I was like, Lyric is really like catapulting herself into a different category of how, she's doing business, and then how she's encouraging other people to do business. And then she's fostering people, and then she's mentoring people. And I just wanted to be one of those people. First of all, out of curiosity, just to see what it was about. And then secondly, to increase my skill set to see what that was all about. And since the academy, I've taught a bunch of classes. I've gone and I've done a bunch of lectures. I've had like the janky studio upstairs in my house. Oh my God. And it was, uh, uh, with the poles and the lights and that kind of thing. And I've gone out into the community as well. And I've um, worked with people who had better equipment than what I was doing up in my studio. And I just thought that it would be another just thing to have in my arsenal of things that I would be able to do. So that's why I decided that, being under your tutelage would be a good thing. And you're patient and you're kind and you know, it doesn't matter like how we come into it, like wherever we come into it, that's where you take us. And then
Yeah, but you guys are the ones who do the work.
yes,
Nobody gets anywhere unless they do the work themselves. And I have seen you, Kimberly, do some really amazing work. So you did not teach online at all before you were in the academy. You did have some you did have in-person teaching experience. And then since then, you've gone in some really interesting directions. We talk in the beginning of the virtual teaching masterclass about what is your big dream, and yours. I was like, well, that's interesting. What does that have to actually do with what we're learning here with video tech and all that stuff? But it was such a fascinating journey. So, do you remember? And do you want to tell us about that
are you
journey?
talking about the Quilt Conference?
Yes, I am.
Woo. Yes, I would love, 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 love to talk about Kindred Spirits. So, the whole notion of Kindred Spirits, and Kindred Spirits is a quilt conference that is biannual that I direct in Durham, North Carolina. The last one was this past June. The first one was in June of 2023, and we do it during Juneteenth. So my dream after I went to Lawrence, Kansas, to be with African American quilters in another quilt conference. Oh my goodness, it just stuck with me the way that women were together. They were healing, African American women healing. They were creating sisterhood. They were creating quilts. There were quilt shows all around town in Lawrence, Kansas for this convention, for this conference, and I was intoxicated, Lyric. Let me tell you, by all of the beautiful people I made, friends that I will have forever at that conference. And I
Right.
said, you know what, Kimberly, you can do this. You can put on a conference. I don't know if everybody can get to Lawrence, Kansas. People may not be able to get to Durham, but I'm going to create sisterhood in Durham, and then there will be people. It'll be at least regional. So we'll have at least my
Mm-hmm.
quilt circle will come, you know? So we put on the first
Mm-hmm.
conference in June 2023 with the help of the Resource Center for Women and Ministry in the South. It was ragtag. It was, oh my goodness, I didn't know what it was going to be. And it was in this place called The Fruit. And The Fruit is an old warehouse where they would process vegetables. So it was rough and tumble, no paint on the walls, like exposed brick, these like wide open spaces that we needed to we needed to convert into our learning and our lecture space. And we did it. We pulled it off. And not only did people come from regionally, but people came from across the country. We were able to have teachers come from across the country to be with us, and we did a pop up quilt show. And from that pop up quilt show, like 450 people came to the quilt show. Who knew that would happen? So then after that, I said, we might be
Right.
onto something here,
Right.
That.
And it was so interesting
Mhm.
because this was I remember talking to you about the anxiety you had about it and how it was so big
Mhm.
of a thing to take on. I mean, and it is really big, but watching how you went through that, this is whether it's this was an in-person live conference. This was not virtual. And most of our audience, what we're talking about right now is learning to build online businesses to reach a wider audience. And this was huge and this was big. And this was an example of having such a huge goal and then stepping back and working it out step by step, and also not worrying about it being perfect, right?
Yes, that was a big thing. I had to step away and say, whatever's going to be, it's going to be. And then the prayer was, I want it to be amazing. Whatever it is served up in, I want people to really enjoy and be be as one, be healed, be in sisterhood, and that's exactly what happened. And I want to tell y'all, Lyric is my sweetheart because she came not only for the first one but for the second one, and she was hanging quilts, helping me hang quilts so that the pop-up
Of
quilt
course.
show would be a success. And people, they were like, "Who's this lady?" I was like, "Lyric Kinard." They were like, "Lyric Kinard is here."
Oh,
Lyric,
please.
oh please, oh please. And people were really very excited about Lyric coming, but um, Lyric, you're just so down to earth and loving, and my people could see that, and I'm gonna,
Yeah, well, that's what all of us
yeah,
do, right? When you have a teacher's soul and a heart, what you really want to do is create community and
yes,
reach people and connect
yes,
with
yes,
them. So this was, because we live close enough together that it was easy for me to drive up, and I only spent like an hour or two volunteering or stuff. And this was like a 2-day full-on conference. And it was, I just really wanted to see how
no,
you
she went and picked
did
me up
this.
from
It
the
was so
airport for
amazing.
me. Keena
Yeah,
Doris,
that's easy.
she went
It was on the way.
from the airport. So Keena, go ahead, you tell it. You tell it. Go ahead,
Oh, and I was going to say,
you
like,
tell it.
first
Mm-hmm.
conference,
Mm-hmm.
right? First conference, it's rough around the edges, but you did not go small. You just threw the line out there as far as you could and pulled in some like top fish. I'm talking like, I was like,
God is good.
whoa, I have no idea if I would be brave enough to ask the people who came in,
So,
who was one of your keynote speakers.
well, one of my keynotes was Dr. Renee Anderson from the Smithsonian in
From
Washington.
the Smithsonian,
I
right?
asked, and she said, sure. And she's a quilter. So when she heard about what was going to happen with all the women who were going to be there, and we told her about what was going to happen as far as lecture, and she was all in. So she came from Washington, D.C. And I was also able to get Marshall Price, who is like the chief curator for the Nasher magazine. I'm not Nasher magazine, the Nasher Museum in Durham. And then I got your lovely friend Keena Dorsey, who I had seen with your academy because she was helping you with your tech stuff. And I was following her, and this woman was like dynamite in like following the process and then doing her thing. So she said yes, and she came from California to be with us. And then we had Cookie Washington, who's renowned master quilter out of Charleston, South Carolina. And you have not because you have not. That
Right.
was my motto. So I was asking people. I mean, I asked a whole lot more people, and they say no. But the people who said yes were just dynamic people, and they're my friends. So Marshall Price was my friend. He uh,
Hmm.
I was a part of had some of my quilts in a part of a quilt show, well, an art show for underrepresented artists called Reckoning and Resilience at the National
Mm-hmm.
Museum, and he was the one who sought me out because he was interested in my quilt work. So Lyric, I
Right.
mean, I don't know what it is, but my spirit meets the spirits of all of these amazing people, and then they say yes if I ask a question. So I feel
Yeah.
really excited
It
for
draws
that.
you in. Well, what I want other people to learn from this is never be afraid to reach beyond what you think you're capable of, or beyond what you think other people will think you're capable of, because it will surprise you. It will surprise you how it works. Not every single time. You just said people say no. You know, all of us experience that. That's part of being an artist, especially, and part of working through being a business person and offering this. So you've had that conference, you had a second one, which was more polished. You learned, you tweaked, you figured more things out, things, I didn't get emergency freak out calls this time.
Girl, other people got freak out calls this year. I wasn't freaking out.
And it's okay. It still went on.
Yeah, I had a bigger team, so I could kind of spread the freak out all around. And it was lovely. We were able to secure the convention center in downtown Durham, so that made it, hike the scale up just a little bit.
For sure.
We had this time at the pop-up reception, 650 people came to the reception. We had about 65, 70 attendees.
How did you get the word out? There were a few articles and things that kind of blew my mind.
So we started really earlier. We put it on Eventbrite, like all of the usuals. And then the Resource Center for Women in Ministry in the South has like a deep network. We put it on all of the TV free entities. We promoted there, and every week there was some kind of buzz that would go out about the conference, and we were able to do it that way. So I think that because we started early, and we dug our ditches like really deep in the beginning, we were able to let a whole lot more people know about what it is that we were doing. I was asked to come on radio talk shows, and I did a bunch of like radio interviews. I didn't get a television interviews. We're gonna work on that for next time. So it was just a lot. Right. It was a lot more boots on the ground too. So the first iteration, we only had a couple of people, struggling to try to do what we could, and then we had a bigger staff this past time, and there was a lot more work that we could share around than just a couple of people. But it went well, so much so that there was a story done about the Quilt Conference in the New York Times.
That was amazing.
Oh,
right?
My name was there. People's quilts were there. The quilters who came, they were telling people, "Oh my God, I'm in the New York Times." So it stretched further than I ever thought that it would. So I'm digging, like planting more seeds for this winter. The next iteration will be in June of 2027. So that gives us, time, a little bit more time out to, look for donations, more of those, maybe hire more staff, talk to more people about it, passing out my cards and I'm talking about it online to get people interested, maybe even fired up to be able to come. So
you have a plan, right?
Yeah, I've got a plan, and I'm just building on.
And no matter what our business, and whether it's online or in person, you release an iteration and you don't wait till it's perfect. And then you learn from what you just did. And you reiterate with the lessons you've learned. Let's go.
That's exactly what that's exactly what you talk about in the academy too. Like you build. You don't have to have the best camera to get started. Just have a camera, and just like make it all make sense, even though it might be a little raggedy around the edges. If you're talking to the people and you're showing your technique, and then you open yourself up so that if something goes wrong, just like me, oh my God, my phone is still on. People understand that you're human, you can make mistakes, and it makes them understand that you are just one of them, one of us. We're all out in this thing,
right? We're
all learning, we're all teaching, and I think the big thing, Lyric, is that we're all experiencing, because that's what people want. They want an experience. They want to be able to say, I did this thing and I was satisfied by it.
That is so on target. I'm listening to the buzz in the professional marketing community, right? And it's always been, you have to know, like, and trust. And they're saying, we don't really think that works as much anymore. What they want, what our people want, is the most authentic connection. They want the real you. They want to have you in a relatable, understandable connection without the polish, without all the extra fluff around it, so being truly open in your heart. And none of that part has anything to do with lighting or equipment or any of that.
Absolutely.
Right? It just has to do with that.
Yeah, just when you get all the lighting right, you still have to have a package. You still have to be able to sell something. Who are you? What are you doing? Why is it?
How are you serving?
How are you serving? Yes. And if that's not a part of it, people don't want to hear they don't want to hear that your lights look good. They don't want to see you in full makeup and you can't explain what it is that you're doing. No, they don't want that. They want you. They want the imperfect you to show up with your perfect technique that you developed or that you're going to be presenting, and then just do the best you can. And love. If you lead with love too, and you lead with friendship too, people will come back over and over. They will trust you to and depend on you to give them a good you, and you are the product. So yeah.
Right. It's all about it, and that takes imposter syndrome out of it when it's about the love that you have for your people. Now, you do still teach virtually, right?
I do.
That's still part of your business model.
Still part of my business model. And when I get the notice that somebody wants me to teach virtually, oh my God, I gotta go get my camera. Then, I make my list, I check it, I get my equipment ready, and when the lights come on, I'm ready to go. Yeah.
There you go. And it gets easier with practice every time, doesn't it?
But that is that initial. And then, I calm down and I make sure that I'm checking my list. Because, there's nothing any worse than, oh my God, my scissors are way over there. My notes are way over there. So, and then what I usually do too is I set up and I just do a dry run, practice. And, what are you going to say? And then I love to have my markups, my, what do you call them? Like your
step outs.
Out. I love to have my step outs already ready. So if something does go horribly wrong, I don't want my people to know, that I'm sweating and I have a step out and I can just say, oh, this is what we're doing.
This is where we're going, folks. It's the magic oven. The cake's already done.
Yeah. It'll help you with your crash and burn. You don't have to crash and burn, especially if you're very well prepared. And I like to be prepared, over prepared, so that, if something doesn't go exactly the way that I wrote it out on my sheet, then it'll go, and then I will be forgiven for whatever I think that my transgression is, and then it'll move on, and it'll be fine, and then you'll get your check.
The check is nice. The check is nice, and that's part of the professional business person, right? You be real, but also you prepare.
Yes.
We have video production checklists. In fact, we'll put a link in the show notes because we have a free video production checklist. Check all these things off before you start filming, and it will keep all these other things from going wrong, right? And it's interesting, I've been teaching online for forever and ever. And I still, if I don't follow my checklist, I'll forget something. And then in the middle of something, it's like, wait, cable, or wait, I have to update this thing. And at the same time, we're prepared and understand that as polished as we are, that things are going to go haywire because it's technology.
Mhm.
And we keep our cool, and the students are cool with it. If we panic, that comes across, right?
And then they're gonna think she doesn't know what she's doing. Why did I pay this money for this? Don't panic. It's okay. And if something
Yeah,
goes terribly wrong, you just apologize and try to make it up. I want to make.
right.
I was this weekend, this past weekend, as a matter of fact, I went to a place called Bolton, North Carolina, and I did a project called Period, and it was a project designed for young African American women to help them with their menses. So I,
Mm-hmm.
had a nurse come in, had like all my whole family came, and then I had like young women from around the community to come. And after we went through that course of study with them, then we had a really good lunch. I believe in a really good lunch after all that talking. But in the
Food.
end, I taught a hand quilting class, and I said these young women are not going to be interested in this. Little did I know, yes, they would. And there was a 4-year-old, and her nickname was Juju. So Juju, anything that the big girls got, Juju wanted to too. And Juju worked on her quilt so intensely that the base, the functional foundational part, she was done before all of the grown ups.
You know what? Children, though, aren't afraid of making mistakes. Children just go in there and they create. Everybody is born an artist, and then it's taught out of us, right? Because of that fear of not being good enough. And children don't do that. So how do we get back to that as grown-ups, not only for being creative, but for being business people,
Yes,
right?
absolutely, absolutely. So it's just it's just a matter of determination, preparation, after preparation, execution, and then after execution, you just stand back and then admire your handiwork.
Right. So it's prepare, and then kind of let go and let
And that
happen.
happened. But I told
And
but I
then,
told the story about the going to Bolton, North Carolina, and the quilting aspect of it, just to let you guys know that I'm not all like, oh God, I gotta run and I gotta do this, I gotta do this in my business. But
mhm,
it's really wonderful to be able to give something to, and not. So my quilt work is a part of me being an ambassador for change as well.
mhm.
I wanted to affect those young women's lives. So I used my passion, hopefully to spur some passion in them. If not quilting, we also talked about um, 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 school after high school, going to college or whatever.
Mhm.
So to be able to take what I love, to use it as a catalyst to help somebody else develop what they're going to do for the rest of their life, like that is refreshing.
Right. So this is also a really important
Mhm.
thing. Um, we have problems with pricing, and women and quilters, we have insecurities about charging what we're worth for our professional services as guides, as teachers, as people who help other people have better lives, right? By being more creative, being more joyful. And what we don't understand sometimes is that we need to be supported. It's absolutely fine, and if we were men, we would never have this conversation, right? But we deserve to be paid well, and the things that opens up for us, money is an amplifier
Mhm.
for what we want to do. It both the time that teaching online opens up as opposed to traveling, to go if when I get hired by a group and travel to teach, it's like 3 or 4 days outside of the actual teaching that are used up. But with online teaching, it's just I show up and it's all ready and it's there, an hour or two. but it opens up so much more time, and then the income opens up possibilities. It amplifies your service to your community. It gives you more time to do the other things that will help you have an impact on the world.
Definitely. And you the same energy that you would put in, like going, like get on a plane or to do whatever it is that you're gonna do, you can take that energy and you put it into your work or put it into another project. But it is so like freeing. It's like a revelation. You can do your business from home and not even, well, you don't even have to be dressed from the bottom down because I mean, who's gonna see you?
Well, we're not going to stand up
You're
right
not
now.
gonna stand up. I'm definitely not gonna stand up. But it just gives you it gives you another way to reach people. So it's only one of me. But if I'm playing my teaching correctly, if I get my feelers out for people to be able to take my class, then I can reach hundreds of people. Where if I'm schlepping my stuff, like I went to the John C. Campbell Folk School and taught, and I had to schlep everything, I had to do it all, go there. But had it been online, I mean, I could have taught 100 people, made that money, and then made like an impression so that another they would tell another 100 people about the work that I'm doing, and then I could get another 100 people to come in and take my workshop. So it is freeing, and I think it has a superpower. Basically, it allows you to multiply yourself so that people would have access to you in ways that they would not have had before. So I'm really all for it. Like this internet thing that we have is making life like easier for people, and you use it the way you want to use it. But I think in the positive aspects of it, people are gaining so much more freedom from what they can do as a teacher online. So the possibilities are limitless too, because not only can you do it live, but then you can like record some stuff and have like some residual stuff come up, and people take your class that way. You can promote your business that way, and it just gives you like so many like phalanges and tentacles that can reach far and wide to be able to broaden the scope of what it is that you do.
Exactly. This beautiful, miraculous technology that we have kind of democratizes our access to our audience. There's no gatekeeper between us that has to hire us and put us in front of the people that they have for us. We can reach out on our own globally.
Yeah. So you don't have to have an agent. Agent like there's those out there. You can be your own agent. And then, depend on your own abilities. And then, so like the academy, like helps you to heighten your ability to be able to present your best face forward for your students. And that is so very important. And I think, the more you put into it, then the more you're going to get out of it. So, just
as with everything, right? We were talking this brings it back full circle to the beginning, where we were talking about the joy that we get from doing what we do, and never working a day in our life. But you also, right before that, said there's hard stuff.
There's hard stuff.
Anything that brings you joy also has the hard stuff you have to face, and it helps us. It helps us grow.
It does help us grow. So I've got this really hard thing, Lyric. And yesterday I said, I'm going to do my hard thing today. I ended up at the clay studio. But today I looked at my hard list and I did get 2 things done from my really hard list. And one of the things got resolved so quickly that I could have did that like last Wednesday and been okay. It got resolved. So I know that I need to approach this big old hill, and I know that I need to like get my cloth and my machine and drag it up the hill. But I got to start so I can get to the apex of it, So my heart, I still got my hard thing list, and this one heart is so hard that I just keep skipping over it. But by the end of the week,
well, here as your person, you are going to check in with
We're gonna check
me
in with
tomorrow at the end of the day, or I will check in with you because we're friends, people.
yes, and I love it.
I'm going to check within you and say, kick you in the butt, Kimberly. You have to get this done. And always, it's just you just got to start.
But Larry,
You
okay,
know, it's never as hard as we make it in our
I'm
head.
just gonna say, if I do this hard thing, it's like I'm gonna be working hard till March. If I go the hard road, I'm gonna be going the hard road until March. But then if I get to the hard road,
But you only have to
no.
start.
And then I'm looking ahead too, like, you have not because you ask not. You have not because you do not, right? So I can
Absolutely.
see like myself working hard, but then I'm thinking that the rewards will be tremendous at the end. But it's just like I have to get into my mind and heart. I have to start this hard thing, and I have to do my
Right.
check off on this hard thing. So I'm kind of going underground until March if I go in the direction with the hard thing, because it takes that. I can't skip
Right.
off into the atmosphere at the scrap exchange, and that's like a reuse center here in our community. Everybody we have
Yeah, it's fantastic.
everything from fabric to scissors to every
Industrial
industrial
waste
way.
that can be used in
Mm,
art, all
art.
kinds of
Oh
interesting
my
stuff.
God!
So,
Yeah.
Kimberly, this is one thing that we start
Mhm.
with in the master
Yay.
class. Write your big goal, the peak you're going for. Put it where you see it, and then choose the first tiniest step to take. Because walking up a mountain doesn't happen with a leap.
Mhm.
It happens by picking up one leg, putting it 6 inches further ahead from where you were going, right? It's only one tiny step at a time. You can do
I can
this.
do
I
this.
know you can do this.
I can do this. I'm gonna get my big thing. I'm gonna get my big thing, and I'm gonna report to you that I have done the first part of my big thing.
That you've
To
started.
launch, to
Perfect.
launch the
Well,
big thing.
excellent. I can't wait. We'll have to check back in March too. Maybe talk to you again and see how things are going because people are going to be curious. Kimberly, where can people find you
I
online?
have a website.
Woo!
It's Kimberly, Kimberley, Pierce Cartwright.com.
There we go. And we'll put it in the show notes as well.
Yeah. And I've got information where you can hire me. You can see like my work. So my work is showcased there.
Mm-hmm.
There's a little bit of information about Kindred Spirits. So you'll get
Yep. Put it on your calendar for June 2027.
2027, and I'm working it out. I'm hoping that I can get some big fish to be a part of my
You
Kindred
will.
Spirits. Yes, and Lyric,
You always have.
I know if you're anywhere around that you will be there to come and see and be and do for me, and I love you for it.
Yeah, always. Always. It's it's so this is what we do. This is why we teach. When somebody who has come through my path, who I've been able to guide in any tiny way, when they accomplish something, when they reach a peak on their way to their giant summit, it brings me so much joy. And you feel that when your students get it. You feel that when you serve your people, right? That's why, again, that's why we do this. Kimberly, a question I ask all my guests just for fun.
Just for fun.
What is the last, yeah, just for fun before we go. What is the last thing you made?
And it's a fact.
Okay, friends. It is a postcard-sized piece of fabric. It's black and white check in the background with a red picnic blanket check circle and then a pear on the front. It's a small, beautiful, little stitched piece of textile art. And it looks lovely.
Yes, so I have a pile of postcards that I'm making. And on the other side of this computer screen, I have 2 quilts. Well, actually 3. 3 quilts in progress. And before I got the call from you today, I was watching Dune, my favorite movie, for the 25th time. And I was doing some embellishments for another quilt that I'm working on. So I've got 3
All
Got
right.
three.
You've been making all day.
I'm going towards my big thing.
Excellent. Excellent,
What about you
excellent.
guys?
Well, friends, make sure you look up Kimberly. Make sure you learn from her example to reach big. And my friend, I am so grateful that you have spent time with us today.
Lyric Montgomery Kinard, you are one of my favorite people ever, 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 ever in my whole life. I'm glad that our paths crossed, and I'm grateful for what you have been to me, and then how you helped me. And there's always a helping spirit from you. And just let me know whatever I can do. I'm here.
That's what we do for each other. So my friends, keep on creating, keep on teaching, keep on sharing your joy and your love and the beauty that you bring into the world. It's worth it. Don't stop. I hope you enjoyed my conversation with Kimberly as much as I did. Her story is such a beautiful reminder that bravery, creativity, and community can take you further than you ever imagined. You can connect with hundreds of art and craft educators inside our free Academy membership at academyforvirtualteaching.com. You'll find resources and a welcoming space to grow your teaching practice. And if you're ready to take your ideas further, the Virtual Teaching Masterclass will help you turn your skills into engaging online workshops that reach students anywhere around the world. Until next time, keep creating, keep teaching, and sharing your light.